beehive, huh? Sure don't appear to be as busy as one, does it?
Well, it used to be quite a place.
All I want's a cold beer, bath, another cold beer, those horses we bought, and one more cold beer. Gentlemen, welcome to Beehive. My name's Parley. I'm the new parson here. We haven't had a chance to get acquainted.
Afraid we're not parishioners. Name's Ben Cartwright from around Virginia City way. My son's Joseph and Hoss.
Howdy.
Howdy. Pleased to meet you, though, Reverend.
No, not Reverend. I prefer parson. I had the call, and I answered it. If you're in town Sunday, I'll be preaching my first sermon. Everyone's welcome, for the Lord knoweth not a stranger.
Well, thank you very much, Parson. If we're still in town, we'd be happy to attend. Could you direct me...
Fellas, come on here. Let's go here. Hey, man. You get any new wives lately? How about loaning me a couple? You get them from your friends.
Why, this is disgraceful. I've never seen anything like this.
That's enough. That's enough.
Come on, get back to the ranch, all of you. All of you! Sorry this happened. Our boys had a little too much to drink.
But all right, Mr. Carbo, I'm used to it. My people have had years of it.
Mr. Carbo. This is Ben Cartwright and his sons from over near Virginia City.
Pleasure, Cartwright. I've heard of you and of your ranch. If there's anything I can do for you...
Well, Mr. Carbo, as a matter of fact, there is. We're here on a horse-buying trip. Could you direct us to Hebert Clausen?
Yeah. I can direct you to him. Just follow that buckboard. That's him.
Really a pleasure to see you, Mr. Cartwright. I knew from our correspondence we felt the same way about good horses.
Well, son Hoss is really responsible for that. He's the one who first heard of your stables.
Oh, my wife, Susanna. My wife, Elizabeth Ann. Girls, this is Mr. Cartwright. Hoss, little Joe.
Ma'ams.
We've been anxiously awaiting your arrival, Mr. Cartwright.
Thank you.
Don't get much company out here. It's nice to see some new faces.
Thank you.
New faces? Why, there was a traveling drummer by here not more than 6 months ago.
And Heber's still complaining about Susanna and me buying a few little things.
A few little... Why, he left with an empty wagon and took a trip to Europe.
Our husband is given to slight exaggeration.
All right, I'll help you with the horses, show you where to freshen up, and after that, we'll have some supper.
Hey, that sounds mighty good. It wouldn't be too much trouble.
Oh, it's no trouble at all. Susanna does all the work. I just watch.
She's taking advantage while she can.
A very fortunate man, Mr. Cartwright. Oh, I trust the fact that we're of the Mormon faith doesn't disturb you.
Of course not, Mr. Clausen. Joseph?
Oh, yeah.
Yep. Well, I'll tell you one thing, Paul. We sure got some mighty fine-looking horses.
Oh, he sure does, doesn't he?
Hey, Pa. You know they were Mormons when you were first writing to them?
No, the subject never came up. No reason for it to. Every man's religion is his own business, isn't it?
Oh, yeah, sure, but... You know, you hear a lot about this polygamy, and when you see it for the first time...
Yeah. You know, Joe, I was thinking about that myself. You first meet Mr. Clausen, and he looks just like an ordinary fella, don't he?
Well, isn't he?
Oh, you know what I mean.
Well, yes, I know what you mean. He has a religion which is different from ours. A religion which approves of plural marriages. But before you start thinking that's awful strange, just remember that all ancient religions practice polygamy.
Yeah, but, Paul, that was Old Testament days.
Well, they're an Old Testament people. Matter of fact, they have the same problem.
What do you mean by that, Pa?
Persecution. These people have been driven out of their homes time and again. Been stoned. Murdered. Driven out into the open plain where 600 of them died in one winter. So many of their men have been killed that they practice plural marriage just to prevent extinction.
Well, they're sure hard-working people. You can tell by this place.
Yeah, this country owes a great deal to the Mormon Church. Many a wagon train would never have reached the Nevada Territory if it hadn't been for the Mormon stations along the way.
Well, anyhow, these Clausens seem like mighty fine folks.
Yeah, they're fine folks, all right.
Elizabeth Ann, are you sure you want to drive the buggy all the way out to where those men are working? Will you please quit worrying?
I tell you, the fresh air will be good for me.
You can't help worry a little bit about people you love.
Susanna, did you ever hate me? I mean, at first.
I think I tried. A little. But who could hate you?
You know, I was afraid when I first came here. But you always made me feel as if I was wanted.
You are wanted. Very much.
Susanna. I don't know why the Lord meant it to be me to have a child instead of you. I just know he did.
I know it, too. Without you, there'd be nothing. Now, come on.
Oh, have you ever seen a prettier bunch of horseflesh?
Don't give me too much of an opening, Hoss. Mormons have quite a reputation for being shrewd dealers.
I found that out at Mormon Crossing on the Carson and at Genoa when they had the Mormon stations there.
We really weren't so bad. We just had a way of setting up our stations where they were needed most.
Well, I guess you could call it good business.
Fortunately, a lot of people didn't. Oh, here comes that lunch the girls promised us.
No. Oh, don't let any of this go to waste.
There ain't much likelihood of that, ma'am.
Oh, that looks good. Thank you.
You know, Heber, those are two remarkable women.
Why, thank you, Ben. And you couldn't be more right.
I hate to interrupt a good lunch like this with business talk, but how long do you think it'll take to round up the rest of the herd?
5, 6 days.
As long as that? Well, why would we do it sooner? We're in a bit of a bind of time, you know. We got to go up north and get that bunch up there.
I'll tell you what, I'll ask Grant Carbo if he won't lend me a couple of hands to help out.
That's a pretty good idea. Carbo seems to be a pretty big man around these parts.
I'd say so. With the exception of myself, everyone in Beehive works for him one way or the other.
That's all.
Well, Dave, you ever figure you'd wind up working for a Mormon?
Well, maybe we're gonna get a bonus, like an extra wife or something. What do you say, Cartwright?
So we got a lot more work to do.
Well, we'll see in about 4 days.
That's right. Remember, that's a dry stretch after you leave the Humboldt.
How come it's always me that's got to go and never Joe? He always gets to stay at that, Burnett.
Because we've already looked over the horses we've got here. Joe can look after them. This new bunch we're looking at, I need you.
You know, it really is wonderful to have somebody in the family that knows so much about horses.
Well, young man, you just make sure you meet us on time.
Yes, sir.
Mr. Clausen, I don't want to start a family squabble or anything like that, but I don't know whether your wife spoiled you or you spoiled your wife, but they sure didn't take much time in spoiling my two boys.
I wouldn't want them to know it, but I've got to admit they're pretty good at that sort of thing.
Bye, Mr. Cartwright. Bye, horse.
I'll save you a piece of pie, brother.
Yeah, you do that.
You know, talking about that apple pie kind of worked up my appetite. You got any left?
I think we can find some.
And you come on in and get dressed. And that goes for you too, Joe Cartwright. We're going to be late for church.
Yes, ma'am. What's the matter?
I'd hate to disappoint Susanna and Elizabeth Ann, but I'm a little reluctant to go to church.
I thought you just told me you always attend.
When Reverend Morris was alive, yes. Wonderful man, Joe. Never did agree with my religion, and we used to argue about it. But he'd defend with his life my right to practice it. The doors of his church were always open.
Well, this new preacher seems friendly enough.
Some of these self-ordained men have some pretty fixed ideas. I'd planned to wait until I got an invitation before attending his church.
Heber, please! Elizabeth Ann and I are all ready to go.
Settles that. We lose again.
Don't ever let them start picking on you, Joseph. They'll never let up.
Listen to him, Elizabeth Ann. We never picked on anybody in our lives. No.
I'd like you to meet our new preacher, Mr. Parley. Heber Clausen, his wife Elizabeth Ann, his wife Susanna. You've met Joe Cartwright.
Preacher, Mr. Clausen, I know that you're not of our faith, but I want to make you welcome to the house of the Lord.
We thank you for that, preacher.
You will find me a very understanding man. I used to be a missionary among the heathen Indians. I know salvation can be yours.
Oh, I understand the importance of salvation. Each member of my faith must serve a mission, too.
Mr. Carbo, you know how fond I was of Reverend Morris. And you know how hard I've worked for this parish. But I never agreed with Reverend Morris about admitting these people into the church.
You'll find Mrs. Lang a great help, preacher.
My dear. For there is so much to do, my friends. And that is a key word, friend. For we must all live together as children of the Lord. But I say to you, to ignore sin is to condone it. And as soldiers of the Lord, we must march against it. Ours not to condemn, ours to cure, to drive out evil. And evil is here. There is one among us who worships a false god. We must help him to see the error of his ways. We must help him back onto the path of righteousness and away from the influence of those destroyers of man and faith who dwell in the valley of the Great Salt Lake. Let us not ignore them. Let us extend our hearts and our helping hands to the innocent who have been led into a life of sin. And that is what I mean by the word friend. We extend our hand to those who have lost the way. We must save them. For when we save each other, we save ourselves. Amen.
Susanna. I'm sorry about that. You got a little carried away.
It's all right.
I won't let anything hurt you, Susanna. You know that.
Everyone knows how much I thought of Reverend Morris. And I must admit this town has needed the truth for a long time. Oh, you were splendid, Mr. Parley. So much more honest and more forceful than Reverend Morris ever was.
So he's got the right to disagree with your religion. Give him the right to stand up in church and make personal accusations.
I won't deny it hurts, Joseph. There have always been some who disliked us for our faith. We've always known that. Fortunately, there are some who know and respect the Mormon religion for what it is.
I tell you, boys, a Mormon church, by its very nature, is designed to destroy.
I've been around them a long time, preacher. Now, you can't deny the Mormons done an awful lot towards building up this country. Well, when I first came here, they were already irrigating their farms. Looked like a garden.
Doesn't that prove my point? Where are those people now? In 1857, Brigham Young issued an order for those people to abandon this community and go back to Salt Lake City. They obeyed like sheep. There's your danger, Mr. Carbo. Hundreds of people selling out their land and their houses. Fantastic strength of one bigoted man who lives with a harem of women.
Well, you got me there, preacher. They did up and sell all right. All except Heber Clawson, that is.
Yeah. Now, that's interesting. How is it that he stayed on? He couldn't defy the church order.
Well, they tell me you cross old Brigham's palm with silver, you can get away with anything.
Yeah. Or give him one of your young wives.
That's what keeps Brigham young.
Well, I tell you, still, Heber Clawson's been a good neighbor to me. Of course, I've done a lot of favors for him. Just loaned a couple of hired hands, as a matter of fact, a few days ago.
Yes, but aren't we getting away from the point, Mr. Carbo? Now, as the leader of this community, you don't condone plural marriage.
No, I don't condone it. It's just that I sort of kind of like to point out where the blame belongs. Now, take Susanna. I've known her a long time. Both those girls are just innocent victims. Why, if you could get them out from under Heber Clawson's influence.
Perhaps we'll do exactly that, Mr. Carbo. Perhaps we will. Well, it's been wonderful having this informal discussion. And as I know I can't change your habits overnight, if I must come into this saloon to meet with my discussion group, I'm perfectly prepared to do so.
Enjoyed it, sir, very much.
Thank you.
Mighty fine sermon.
Thank you very much.
Rachel, you really got the word. You're going to be all right.
Thank you.
I'll take you to the door.
Thank you.
ought to cut those hammerheads out.
We'll let these cool down a couple of days until we bring the big herd out of the hills. Then Joe can make his first cut here.
Well, in that case...
In that case, there isn't much reason for you two not to go on in town, is there? Last few days up here have been pretty dry, huh?
Join us for a drink, Joe?
No, thanks. I think I'll just stick around here.
It's a funny thing, Joe. Every time I've just about made up my mind I don't like that Grant Carbo, he comes up with another favor, like loaning me those hands. Eva here?
No, he and Mr. Cartwright are up at Saltgrass.
No matter. You're the one I want to see anyway.
I've got no business with you, Mr. Carbo. The door's behind you. If you don't leave here at once, I'll call Elizabeth Ann.
I just seen her drive off. You'd have to call pretty loud, wouldn't you? Now, why don't you be sensible and listen to me? It'll be for your own good. There's a lot of talk going on about town about you Mormons. I think that preacher's out to get you. There's even talk about running you out.
They wouldn't dare.
You're wrong. They'd dare. I think they'll try it.
Then we'll fight them.
One man, pregnant lady, yourself. Why don't you be sensible, Susanna? Talk to Eva. Convince him to sell him out to me like the others did. Let him and Elizabeth Ann leave here. He ain't no kind of husband to you anyway, taking another wife like that. I've made no secret about the way I felt about you. I get what I want, Susanna. One way or another.
Don't touch me! Let me go! Let me go!
You can't fight me, Susanna. You ought to make up your mind to that.
Oh, you look so foolish with your eyes bugging out and your nostrils flaring. I've known you a long time, Mr. Carbo, and I never thought I'd live to see the day you'd make such a fool of yourself. I can't wait to tell Elizabeth Ann.
I saw someone riding away from here. I thought I'd better come back. Susanna? What's wrong?
It was nothing. It was just someone for Heber.
It was Grant Carbo, wasn't it? Susanna, how much longer are you going to try to fight this by yourself?
Elizabeth Ann, what am I going to do?
I've told you 1,000 times, tell Heber.
And it would cause too much trouble.
Wouldn't that be better than having Grant Carbo putting his hands on you, following you around with his eyes, trying to make love to you?
Heber is my husband. You know what happens to anybody that tries to fight Carbo.
Heber's my husband, too. And there's more than one kind of hurt Suppose Grant Carbo starts lying about his relationship with you. People will believe him. Do you know that? Susanna, Heber loves you. And so do I. And I'm not going to see two people I love being hurt by lies. If you don't tell Heber how Grant Carbo's been bothering you, I will.
I say, got a little worried when you didn't show up with lunch, Elizabeth Ann, so I thought I'd better ride in. What's happened here?
It's nothing. It's just foolish woman business.
Not some more of that business in town.
No, really.
Tell me.
Oh, Heber.
Susanna, what's wrong?
I haven't got time to explain. It's Heber. There's gonna be bad trouble. He's gone to town looking for Carbo.
Hey, you can't ride in here like a madman starting fights like this. We demand an explanation. I want to know what this is about.
You ask him. He knows.
Boss has done everything he could to be nice to them people.
Please, please, all of you. Now we're all agreed it was an unprovoked attack. But let he who is without sin among ye cast the first stone.
You all know how much I thought of Reverend Morris, God rest his soul. But I told him from the first he was wrong to encourage those Mormons.
My wife always did say that.
We must not turn aside.
That's all right for you to say, preacher. How about that Cartwright? What do we know about him?
Why, Mr. Carbo himself told me the Cartwrights are the biggest ranchers in Nevada.
Sure. But how do we know this one is Joe Cartwright? You ever see the way he packs a gun? How do we know he ain't one of them Danites? One of them hired killers the Mormon church has?
I've said this before, and I say it again. We could all be murdered in our beds.
Please, Mrs. Lang. That's the way prejudice is born. We must not jump to conclusions like that.
Conclusions? Just remember, there's nowhere those Mormons didn't have to be driven out of. And they shouldn't have been allowed to stop in this country either.
Please, you must not poison your minds like that. We must pray for guidance. We have got to try to drive the devil out of the souls of these non-believers. Now, pray that I may have divine guidance when I go to talk to them.
Oh, I'll pray with you, preacher, but I mean to get me a gun and carry it, too.
You ain't gonna be alone, friend.
Please, all of you, let us pray.
If you, sure you don't want me to go in town for the supplies?
You can't just hide under a rock, Joe. Susanna, Elizabeth Ann, and I are still Mormons, and life goes on.
I'll be out at the pasture. See you when you get back.
Well, I guess that'll do it for today, Miss Lang. Put it on my bill.
No more credit, Clausen.
I've had an account with you for years now, Lang.
Well, money's tight. Things change. No credit for anybody.
Look, it'd pinch me pretty hard to pay cash right now.
I've got troubles of my own, Clausen. You want those supplies or not?
Put these pants and shirts on my bill. Will you, Lang?
Sure, Megan. Glad to. You want those supplies?
Yes, I want the supplies.
Good day, Mrs. Green. It started again, hasn't it?
Yes, but you and I have been through this before.
It's not us I'm worried about, Heber. It's Elizabeth Ann. She's never faced prejudice before.
I prayed for guidance. And when I opened my Bible, the marker fell on Luke 8:2. The answer sprang from the page. Mary, called Magdalene, out of whom went 7 devils, repent. Repent and be saved. Fall on your knees and pray with me. Mary Magdalene's. Pray with me, Mary Magdalene's, that I may free you from your sins. Renounce the man who has led you into this mockery of holy matrimony. Free yourselves from this concubinage. Open!
Get out of my house before I break your neck with my bare hands.
saddled up that bay you like.
Thanks.
Where's Susanna going?
We can't move the horses alone. Tex and Dave quit last night. They went back with Carbo.
Hiya!
Well, now, looky there.
If I'd have known they was gonna hire help like that, doggone if I wouldn't have stayed on.
What do you reckon it'd happen if, this here team accidentally run away and, went right down into that band of horses?
I reckon I just have to ride right along beside you and save you.
Let's give that Mormon something to think about.
Heber! Up the slope!
See if we can turn the leaders!
Get down off that wagon.
I don't know what I want to do that for. I just got this team of runaways quieted down.
I told you to get down off that wagon.
Well, boys, I guess I'm gonna have to accommodate him.
Hold it, just like you are. Load him in the wagon, take him back to town.
But it had nothing to do with you. I'm the one that shot him. It was self-defense.
It doesn't make any difference.
Now, what do you mean it doesn't make any difference? I'll go to the sheriff and explain what happened. I've got witnesses.
There is no sheriff here. Carbo's the law.
There still must be something we can do.
Oh, yes. Like I told you, we can do what our people have always had to do. Move on. No. Perhaps we're being repaid for defying the church when Brigham Young ordered us to sell out here.
Don't say that, Heber. You and Susanna were just married in love. This was your home.
You've served your missions, Heber.
Well, we'll have to decide what we'll take with us.
Now, wait a minute. You can't just leave, give all this up, everything you've worked for? It's a free country. They can't make you leave here.
You're wrong, Joseph. I know it all so well. The small grains of truth stirred up into a killing sandstorm. All the tired, distorted tales of Porter Rockwell, Brigham Young's personal assassin. The Fancher train. The Danites, hired killers of the church. none of the real truth about our exodus from Missouri, assassination of our leader, the driving of our people from the beautiful Nauvoo. 600 of us who died in winter's quarters. The long trek to Deseret.
Don't, Heber, don't torture yourself.
I've heard it so many times. So many times.
He didn't stand a chance, boss. Cartwright, as he calls himself. He's a hired killer for the Mormons. I mean, there ain't no doubt about it.
Austin's one of them Danites, too. He came at us with a rifle.
You don't know how many more of them avenging angels is waiting right outside of town, ready to move in here.
My wife always did say we'd be murdered in our beds if we let them Mormons stay.
Hey, preacher, you still gonna pray for him?
How? How can I pray? I offered them salvation. They repay us with violence. This crime cannot go unpunished.
You've done all you can, preacher. A couple of killers loose.
May God have mercy on their souls.
How can we leave this place? We've put so much of ourselves into it.
We have no choice at the moment but to accept Joseph's hospitality. Virginia City's a large place. There'll be a doctor there for Elizabeth Ann.
Don't worry about her, Heber. I'll be with her every inch of the way.
You love her very much, don't you?
Yes. And I love the child she's to give us just as devoutly.
They're coming.
There's about a dozen of them. I didn't believe you, Heber. I didn't believe a thing like this could happen.
Get Elizabeth Ann. I want you two to go on.
I don't want to leave you.
You do as I say.
You go with the women. I'll hold them off as long as I can, then I'll join you.
We both stay. You keep moving. We'll catch up as soon as we can.
Yes, Heber.
Saddle up a horse.
Remember now, let the preacher do the talking. We don't want those women to be harmed.
Now, we are not on a mission of vengeance.
All right. Go on.
Clausen? You hear me, Clausen?
Oh, I hear you, preacher.
We mean no harm to the women. Now you send them on out.
You're too late, preacher. They've already gone.
All right. Smoke them out.
Heber!
Come on!
Let's go get him!
No! Feet of the wounded men.
You mean you're gonna let him go?
Only two of them. Nothing ahead of them but the desert. They join up with the women. That's gonna even slow them down more. We got plenty of time.
Fires of hell and damnation. They should have listened to me! They should have listened. Those women cannot escape. We must find the man who has tainted them. We must find him, and he must die, that they may be saved.
We won't let you down, preacher. You can bet on it. Mount up!
The wages of sin is death. I must save the souls of those misguided Mormon women. It's a mockery of the Lord's will that Heber Clausen should claim 2 wives.
I know how you feel, preacher. It'll be dark in a couple of hours. 2 women, 1 pregnant. They won't get very far.
Now,
Suppose they followed us?
I don't know. How do you know anything when something like this starts? Just how do you measure hatred and prejudice?
It all happened so fast. Just a few days ago, we were all sitting in church. You, Susanna, Elizabeth, Ann, and me.
You saw it born there, Joe. That's the way it always is. The least expected time and the least expected place. Well, we'd better get moving if we're going to catch up with Susanna and Elizabeth Ann.
Right.
Susanna, if we could stop soon.
All right. We'll stop in those rocks right up ahead.
to do for me this way, Susanna?
Our husband has lost his ranch, the horses that he loves. And he's had his faith in his fellow man put to still another test. Elizabeth Ann, this child, our child, we mustn't let it be taken from him, regardless of the cost.
No.
Well, it's been a real pleasure doing business with you, Mr. Cartwright.
Well, thank you very much, Mr. Baker, and thank you for your hospitality. Next time you're up around our way, you make sure you stay at the Ponderosa with us.
Now, you can really count on that. I've got to congratulate you on choosing Heber Clausen for your cutting horses. That man really has a way with horses, even if he is a Mormon. Well, come on, boys. Better head back to the ranch now. Goodbye, sir.
That was Baker.
Bye, Hart.
Adios, Mr. Baker.
Well, done pretty good here. Hope little Joe's done as well. Sure he has.
Paul, you reckon two of us can move all them horses?
Well, son, we're just about to find out. Look there.
Susanna?
Go to Elizabeth Ann Heber. She needs you. She needs your strength and reassurance. I was so worried.
Well, maybe now that Carbo and the preacher got their fill of violence, maybe they'll leave us alone.
I wish that were true, but it's not, and you know it. So does Heber.
Well, things could change. Besides, we'll be joining up with Pa and Hoss pretty soon.
earth are you doing?
Finishing the clothes for our child.
Oh.
We have so much to be thankful for. You and Susanna and I. We have our love. And as long as we keep that, nothing can happen to us.
We'll always have that.
So we have nothing to worry about, do we? Won't you smile for me, Heber? Hadn't you better go give Susanna a hand?
Guess I had. Sure don't need any help here.
And Heber, don't you go sending us off by ourselves again.
I'll be with you forever.
And a day.
You know what that girl is doing. Does she have any idea what's going on?
Of course she knows what's going on. She's knitting, isn't she? That's what women usually do when they have babies.
I swear, if you aren't two of the doggonest women I have ever met in my life. Susanna, got a confession to make. Up to 5 minutes ago, I was ready to give up.
You were?
Now, even this country is beginning to look good to me.
Looks pretty quiet. Yeah, I still can't believe it. I talked to those people in BI. They seem decent enough.
Oh, they are, Joe. For the most part. But prejudice has never respected decency. I've seen it so many times. But I kept telling myself it couldn't happen to me.
You just wonder what happens to people. Well, anyway, we're gonna make it all right. Some fine doctors in Virginia City.
No, Joe. I'm going back to Salt Lake. I want to be with my people where I belong. I defied my church once when I stayed in Beehive while the others were called back. And they forgave me. Now's my chance to prove myself worthy of that forgiveness. I'll start all over. Build a new house like Susanna and I did when we were first married. Most important, I'll raise my child in my own faith. I've got no fear of the future, Joe. I do regret that I've had to put Susanna and Elizabeth Ann through all this.
What you going down there to?
Thank you, Joe.
Going up on a hill and take a look.
this to Elizabeth Ann, we're gonna kill her. Let me go to Carbo and try and reason with him.
You can't argue with the devil, Susanna.
Heber! Don't let Susanna try to bargain with Grant Carbo. That man is evil, and you know how he feels about her.
No, don't worry.
Now we just have to wait him out.
We could just get the men over to one side. I don't want anything to happen to those women.
Nothing's gonna happen to Susanna. I'll promise you that.
Mm-hmm. I was really thinking more of the other one. One who's gonna have the baby. She's the second wife, and that's where the sin is.
Preacher, that's a moral problem, I reckon. And that puts it in your camp, not mine.
How much further to where we're supposed to meet Pa?
If we can get moving again, it's only about 4 or 5 miles.
You take the wagon and get going.
Makes you think I'd do that?
When Pa and brother get there, tell them I could use some help.
Joe, I'm not listening to you.
Look, I'm not gonna argue with you about this. Those 2 women need you, and so does your child.
Try and give us just 5 minutes, and then you come on. We have to get moving. It's only a little ways. There's no other choice.
Come on, Elizabeth Ann. You lie down in the back. You'll feel better.
Boss, Heber and a wagon are making a run for it. We gotta stop them. We gotta stop them.
Send 2 men and cut him off. We can't let that kid stay at our back. Now listen. There's only one of them up there. Move in on him.
Joe! Get these horses moving!
see.
Yeah, we just thought we'd drop by.
Who are they? It's Carbo and his men.
Carbo? If you three think you can hold them down, I'd like to get back with the women.
The women? I'll tell you about it later. Go ahead.
Dave, you got any idea why we're here?
Yeah, wages.
No, I don't like it. That Mormon's never done nothing to me.
All four of them are out there together. That means the two women are alone at the wagon.
And I shall go to them. And I shall pray with them. Here in this barren land. I shall drive the sin from their souls.
I've spoken to you before, preacher. I'm going to speak to you again. You stay put. I'm running things.
We are both soldiers marching in the army of the Lord, my friend. It is your duty to destroy the day, night, and the heathen. It's my duty to save souls.
Now, you're going to stay put if I have to knock your teeth out.
Mr. Carbo, our church.
You wouldn't have no church unless you had my money. It's about time you understood that. Now, you behave yourself and do like I say, or that money stops.
Susanna. Susanna. I'm here, dear. Shooting has stopped. Is it all over? I don't know. Don't leave me, Susanna. I won't leave you ever, dear.
Susanna?
Oh, thank heavens. What's happening?
And Cartwright, also with little Joe. They'll be able to hold off Carbo and his men for a while, but I just don't know how long. How's Elizabeth Ann?
I think her time's very near. What are we gonna do, Heber? What are we gonna do?
Haven't seen anything move over there in 10 minutes. Reckon we run them off?
No, they're still there, all right. Go have a look.
Tex. Dave. Come along with me.
What are you gonna do?
I ain't gonna save any souls, preacher. I'm just gonna get me what I come for.
Our mission must not fail.
It won't.
I'm not sure I did the right thing, letting him go that way.
Preacher, you do the right thing when you do what Grant Carbo tells you to do. There just ain't no other way to go in this part of the country.
Less especially, Father, those who have caused such pain in our lives, that their hearts may be open to thy love. Amen.
My dear husband, Heber. My dear sister, Susanna.
Try to rest now.
You're both so good to me. You mustn't worry about me so.
We love you, Elizabeth Ann. We love you so very much. I don't know much about delivering babies. She should have a doctor.
Yes, I know.
What's to become of us?
God wills.
Are we to run forever because our faith is different from that of others?
No, Susanna, not forever.
Someday there'll be a better world. A world without bigotry and hatred and blind prejudice. There has to be. I refuse to believe that men have died in vain from the beginning of time.
I love you, Heber. I love you with all my heart.
You left me no other way. Don't you see that?
I told you I get what I'm after, Susanna. Carlo!
Hold it!
Well, there's only 3 of them. What are you waiting for? Can't you see there's been murder here?
That's right, Polly. There has been murder here. And you're responsible for it.
I'm not listening to this. You 3 are day-nights, hired killers.
Are they, Mr. Parley? Brad Carbo shot our husband in the back. He never had a chance to defend himself. Ask them, they must have seen it. Are you men enough to stand up and admit it? Or are you still afraid of Carbo even when he's dead?
Don't listen to her. You men know why we're here. We're here on a mission for the Lord. Those 3 day-nights must pay. In the name of the church, they must pay.
What Lord, Mr. Parley? What church? You call yourself a man of God. You don't even know the meaning of the phrase. Look there. Look at our husband. There was a true man of God. And you and your hatred and your prejudice, you've killed him.
Now, you men know why we're here. Those 2 women must be cleansed of their sins. In the name of the church.
Carbo never gave a hoot about you or your church. He was just using you.
I don't want no more trouble, Joe. All Carbo ever wanted was this woman. And everybody knew it. Except you, preacher.
Oh, you're wrong. Mr. Carbo was a devout man. You can't go.
Don't talk to me, preacher. You make me sick at my stomach.
But you can't leave. Our work's not completed. You two women. You must know I meant only good. Why, it was just like the story of Mary Magdalene. Believe me, I never meant any harm.
Why don't you leave them alone with their grief?
I only wanted to save their souls.
Preacher, I think you should concentrate on saving your own soul.
No! Wait! We must all work for salvation! You must stay! Wait! Please, wait!
What do you think, boss?
Well, I tell you, your time is near. I wouldn't like to move in that wagon. I think it'd be fatal.
I can make the ride to Humboldt Crossing. There'll be a doctor there.
I think you better do that. I'll tell Susanna. At least we can give her that much hope.
She's so still.
Well, rest's the best thing for her right now.
Susanna, why don't you go get you something to eat? Boss, you ain't such chastity.
I know.
Well, I ain't doing a whole lot of good around here. I think I'll saddle up again and see if I can't round up some of those horses.
I'll take care of her. I promise, Heber, I'll take care of her. And I'll take care of your child.
You had the baby yet?
No. I tell you, if that doctor doesn't get her pretty soon, I'm real worried. Things are real rough with her.
This is Doc Bingham, Pa.
Glad to know you, Doctor.
Oh, yeah, we'll visit later. Where's the patient?
Who's she, Doctor?
She's gonna die, and there's nothing I can do about it. I don't know how she managed to last this long. Just hanging on for the baby, I guess.
What about the baby? Will it be born all right?
It's questionable at best, but the mother's struggling to give it every chance.
What if she dies before the baby's born?
That will reduce the chances of the infant's survival to almost none. Would you put some more wood on the fire?
Hello, Susanna. Are we home?
No, not home. We're safe here.
Our baby will be all right.
Of course it will.
Yes. Yes, it will, won't it?
Of course. Now, don't worry. You go to sleep now. The doctor's here.
Look, Paul.
I don't know.
I'm Reverend Blaisdell. This is my wife. As soon as we heard what happened, we came to see if we could be of assistance. Reverend, Bessie, glad you came. It's a fine baby boy, Mr. Cartwright.
And Elizabeth Ann?
She's conscious now, but she can't last very long.
Perhaps my wife and I should go to her now.
They asked to be alone.
It's beautiful. If only Heber could have known.
He knows, Elizabeth Ann.
Yes. Yes, I believe he does. I love you. Susanna, will you take care of our son? Always.
Of course I will.
Do you remember how, in times of stress, Heber always recited our 13th article of faith?
I remember.
Would you recite it for me? I want to hear it. Just once more.
We believe in being honest, true, chaste, benevolent, virtuous, and in doing good to all men. Indeed, you may say that we follow the admonition of Paul. We believe all things, hope all things. We have endured many things. We hope to be able to endure all things. If there is anything lovely, virtuous, of good report, or praiseworthy, we seek after these things.
Believe all things. We hope all things. We have endured. poor innocent infant. What's to become of it?
We'll take it, of course.
You'll take it? You'll take this child? You stand there in your great and mighty righteousness and tell me you'll take this child from me?
Susanna, please.
Your bigotry and prejudice have already taken my husband from me. And my sister. And now you stand there and tell me that you'll take this child?
Mrs. Clausen, I only meant...
I know what you meant. That this is not my child, that it was born of another. But don't you understand? This child's father was my husband. We wanted children, my husband and I, more than anything in the world. But when the Lord, in his wisdom, saw fit to deny me that privilege, my husband took Elizabeth Ann to wed, with the blessing of our church and in the sanctity of our church. This child is as much mine as if it were born of my body. It will be raised in its father's faith and in its father's image.
Mrs. Clausen, you did not let me finish. No one will take your child from you.
We were a family, the three of us. We loved each other.
I meant only that we want to take you into our home. We want to help you. We want you to stay with us as long as you wish. Your faith is not ours, but we have deep respect for your church. It is proper that a son should be raised in the faith of its father.
You don't want to take my child?
Oh, no, dear.
Forgive me. Forgive me. For a moment, I lost faith.
We all have moments when we lose our faith, my dear. We would be less than human if this were not so.
Let me help you with your son, Mrs. Clausen. He's a beautiful baby, Mrs. Clausen.
You know, Paul, there's still a lot of good folks in Wellington.
Yeah, there sure are. And someday, hopefully, they'll make the world that Eva was seeking.
I just hope it comes soon enough so his son can see it. Yep.
it's fine.
Hey, how's about a bottle of this nice lavender water, Hoss, huh?
Ah, thank you, Tony. I don't need none of that stuff.
Well, little Joe, he uses this.
Yeah, but if I smelled bad, little Joe, I would too.
That's absolutely catnip, huh? You can spark all of the ladies with this.
Thank you, Tony.
Palace Hotel's across the street. Need any help with your bags, ma'am? No.
Hey, Clint, how'd things go? Look. Excuse me now.
Put me down! You drunken man! Put me down!
Having trouble with a pen, ma'am? Number 17, Miss Atley. Top of the stairs on your left. May I help you with the bags, ma'am?
No, thank you.
Hey, Hoss, as long as you're being a good Samaritan, your lady friend forgot this.
Yeah? Reckon I might as well take it over there to her, huh?
Sure a hog for punishment. Here you are, Sir Galahad.
Who is it?
My name's Hoss Cartwright, ma'am. I got your hat box. I reckon you just sort of walked off and forgot it.
Thank you for troubling.
Oh, ma'am, it wasn't no trouble. I was on my way back over to the...
Thank you.
That collar would fit you just like a glove, Hoss.
Yeah. It better fit old Nellie like a collar. I'm gonna hang it on you, Frank. Hang on to it a few minutes. I'll come back and pick it up.
Oh, Mom. Mom. I'm so sorry. I want to promise you something. I want to promise you that I'm going to take whatever time I've got left. And I'm going to try and be what I should have been. Oh, I didn't want you to die alone. Oh. Oh, I wanted to be here when you needed me. I came back too late. Everything's too late.
It ain't never too late to cry over somebody you love. Ma'am, I don't mean to be intruding, but I'd like to be of some help if I could. I know Virginia City pretty well. I reckon it's pretty obvious that I know all the good eating places. I do a pretty fair job of handling a horse and buggy, too.
got most of the wood shop, but I'm not...
Yes, sir. Today I put no starch in the collar.
Oh, great. Don't ever do that no more. Hey, listen, how about that?
That time you stick the bow a little bit more. Listen.
Yeah. How about my shirt in the back?
Very good. Very good. You look very happy.
Hey, I see you got one.
Take the buggy and all polish today.
I wanted to talk to you a minute.
Smells delicious.
I wanted to talk to you a minute.
Yeah.
I want to talk to you about me doing your chores.
Yeah, thanks a lot.
Goodbye.
Is that you smells like lavender water?
Oh, no, sir. It's Mr. Hoss. He bring home whole bottle last night. Put in bathtub, put in hair, put in everything.
What's he got in the basket?
Fried chicken, ham, potato salad, loaf of bread, cake, roast beef, little thing like that.
What's he gonna do, feed the whole Virginia City militia?
He not tell you what he do?
No, he didn't tell me. What's he gonna do?
Well, then I not tell you either. I can tell you Calvin.
Thanks a lot.
Confidence is a confidence, little Joe.
Look, confidence or no confidence, but I'm getting tired of doing double chores, and it's breaking my back. I didn't mind it for a little while, but I've been working, and he doesn't...
Wait just 1 second. I recall a number of occasions when Hoss did all your chores when you went calling on a girl.
Papa, that... What? He's doing all this for a girl?
No. What would a girl have to do with getting dressed up every day and dousing yourself with lavender water and going on picnics and polishing the buggy? And listen, young fella, don't kid him about it.
No, I won't kid him. Hey, I wonder who she is.
A girl. Oh, one more thing.
Yes, sir.
Go finish your chores.
Yes, sir.
What's the matter? Something wrong? Oh, hi, Sheriff.
Us.
How are you? This is Miss Carol Atlee, Sheriff. This is Clem Foster, our sheriff, Carol.
How you do, Miss Atlee?
How do you do?
You're new in town, aren't you?
Yes.
I hope you find Virginia City to your liking, ma'am. Us.
So long, Sheriff. Get up. What do you think of it?
I never saw anything so pretty. It's hard to believe that a place as beautiful as this didn't even exist once.
How do you mean, didn't exist?
When all the earth was granite, before the sun shone on it. It reminds me of something I read once. Rain beats on lonely granite sheets that have not felt the sun. Silent air has not been moved by cries of sorrow. That was from a book that was once very close to me. I don't remember how the poem ends. Do you come here often?
As often as possible.
Yeah.
See that little stream out there? It's chock plumb full of trout. Hey, would you like to try to catch one?
What about a fishing pole?
And bait. Just happens to be around.
Hoss, is it possible there still are people like you in this world?
Let's go catch a fish. Come on. Come on. I'll bait your hook for you.
All right.
put it in there, and then I'll let you have it. All right?
Yeah.
Hang on. Watch your cork.
Watch my cork.
Yeah, when you see that cork bobbing, and you know you got a fish, don't you see?
Oh.
Keep your eye on him. No, you got him up too high. That's it. Now keep the end of the pole out of the water. There you go. Now, no, look here. Keep your cork right down there on the surface. Jerk it around just a little bit, see, and tease him. Make that bait look more alive. Yeah. Here, you're doing real good. Just keep an eye on that cork.
Oh!
You got a nibble.
I
Hang on,
think so.
hang on, just be patient.
All right.
Now he's got it. Now he took it. Now pull it. Hang on. You want me to get him?
No, I want to. No,
Be careful.
I will. Oh,
You got,
I really...
you got a granddaddy up on. All right. Be careful of the bank, Carol. Carol, bank! Carol! Carol! You all right? You all right?
I didn't even catch him.
I just don't know what to say. I mean, I'm so gall-darn delighted.
Hey, what are you delighted about? Don't tell me my big brother finally decided to go back to work.
I'll tell you what. We're going to have a wedding in the family. Hoss here tells me he intends to get married.
What?
That's right. I'm going to get married, Joe, just as soon as I can get some things taken care of.
You son of a gun. Congratulations. Hey, I'll bet you know who it is. Bessie Sue.
No.
Mary Jane?
No. You don't even know her. You never met this girl. Her name's Carol Atlee, and she just got into town 4 days ago.
4 days ago?
That's pretty fast.
Yeah, that's why I fixed this thing up so we could all have dinner tonight at the hotel and everybody get kind of acquainted. You know?
Hoss, let's have dinner here.
No, Paul, I'd rather do it at the hotel so we can do it up right, you know. I'm going to go up and get dressed, see you all after a while.
Okay. I'll be doggone.
How about that?
Yeah, I won't be an uncle. What's keeping him?
Will you relax?
I mean, relax. How am I going to relax? It's not every day a fellow meets his sister-in-law for the first time. She must have been sitting there for 20 minutes.
Oh, there they are, then.
She's kind of pretty, isn't she?
Yeah.
Carol, I want you to meet my Pa and my little brother, Joe, and Mr. Cartwright. This is Carol Atlee.
Howdy. It's a pleasure, ma'am.
Carol, you're as lovely as Hoss said you'd be.
You're very nice.
Well, why don't we all sit down, huh? Here. Well, I reckon we might as well start, huh?
Sounds good to me.
Good idea.
Was it? I think we're ready.
Right away, Hoss.
Yeah.
Carol, in your family, do you have two brothers like these two fellas?
I hope not.
No.
Any sisters?
No.
Any family?
I'm quite alone.
I'm sorry.
Oh, you won't be for long, that's for sure.
No, you sure won't. We're gonna put a change to that right quick.
Well, Carol, we've been looking forward to meeting you and getting to know you. After all, it's not every day that a man's son decides to get married.
Of course not.
Thank you, Martha. Hey. Well, that soup looks delicious.
Yes. Thank you, Martha. Well, it's got everything in it.
Thank you, Martha.
I think we might as well dig in, huh?
You haven't been in Virginia City very long, have you?
Just for 5 days.
Whereabouts you from? Back east?
Yes. Yes.
What town you from?
Something wrong, Carol?
Carol? I was just asking you what town you're from back east.
I've lived so many places.
Well, what was the last place you lived in? Was it some kind of secret?
Joseph, have your soup. Huh?
I'm not feeling very well. Will you excuse me? I'm sorry to spoil your dinner. Thank you for inviting me.
Carol, you'll have dinner with us tomorrow night at our house.
Yes. Little Joe?
I'll be back after a while.
I wonder what that was all about.
Well, Joe, when a girl meets her future in-laws, I guess she has a right to be nervous.
Well, being nervous is one thing, but she was on her guard from the moment she came in.
Yes, sir.
Sorry for Hoss. He had this whole thing planned, but he's disappointed.
Yeah. Let's eat.
Now, Carol, you listen to me. You can unlock that door and go in that room and lock me out. Catch the next stage out of town. Do whatever you like. But that's not giving us much of a chance, is it?
What chance have we got?
I'll tell you what kind of a chance we've got. So long as I've got you, Carol, you've got me. All of my strength, everything that I own. It'll work.
No, Hoss. It wasn't your brother. It wasn't your father tonight. It was me. They have every right to know about me. Who I am. Why I'm here. You must wonder why I can't answer normal questions. You must wonder why I've never told you anything about myself.
Yes, I have wondered. But, Carol, I trust you. I believe in you. Most of all, I love you. I love you as much as any man can a woman. And I think you love me.
I do love you, Hoss. I wish I could marry you.
Carol, what is it?
I can't.
Why?
I have no right.
Carol, don't do this.
I killed a man. It was an accident. But I killed him. He was a cheat. A liar. Brute. Drunk. But I didn't know that when I married him. Mother and I were alone, and we were poor. We were very poor. And he made a lot of promises. Well, I was young. He was much older. He lived. I was drawn to that. But not Mama. She hated him. She saw right through him. But I wouldn't listen to her. I left her and I ran away with him. And I never saw my mama alive again.
Carol, go on. I want to hear the rest of it.
Well, when he was drunk, he was violent. And he used to beat me. And then one night he came home and he was very angry. He'd had some fight with another woman. And he had a gun. He threatened me. And I fought with him. And the gun went off. And then I saw him fall. And he was dead. I wasn't held for it, but I can't forget it. I can't ever forget it.
Carol, I told you once. I'm going to tell you again. I love you. I want you to be my wife. I want you forever.
Oh, Hoss.
Please say yes. Please, Carol. Please.
Look. Do you remember that poem that I read to you? I tried to recite it, but I couldn't remember the ending. Well, I kept the book. And after you asked me to marry you, I looked it up. Rain beats on lonely granite sheets that have not known the sun. The silent air has not been moved by cries of sorrow. Then one bright sun shoots one bright ray, bursts forth a flower, and with it day, to bloom for thee. Yes, to bloom for thee.
Carol, does that mean the answer is yes?
Yes.
That's the whole story, or all there is to it. I'm sure glad you didn't keep it locked up inside her. It would have always been between us, I reckon.
Joe, I think it might be a good idea if you and I visited Carol. Showed her the whole family's behind her.
Right.
Yeah, I think she'd like that, Paul. Well, I gotta get into town first thing in the morning. I got all them wedding plans to take care of.
Now, we'll take care of your chores and we'll see you there later.
Yeah, I guess that shouldn't bother you too much, should it, Hoss?
Not a bit, little brother. Not a bit. You know, this getting hitched, it's a full-time job.
Yeah, well, I think Pa should have warned you about that.
Yeah. Well, you might as well say good night and good morning to me right now, because first thing, bright and early in the morning, I'm taking off. And tonight I gotta get my sleep. Night.
Night, Hoss.
Good night, brother. Well, I'm gonna have to do his chores and my chores. I better turn in, too. See you in the morning, Pa.
Good night, son.
going to be the most beautiful wedding dress in the world.
And I'm going to talk to the preacher, and we're going to have the most beautiful and the biggest wedding the Ponderosa ever heard of. I'll be back as soon as I can.
Make it very soon.
Carol, I'll guarantee you nothing's going to keep me any longer than possible. Bye.
Would you check my bag? Where can I find the sheriff's office in this town?
Well, there's a sheriff right over there.
Thank you. Sheriff? Sheriff!
There's a man following me.
What?
A man has been trying to force himself on me. If he comes in here, you tell him that I am not registered.
Well, certainly, Miss Atlee. I never heard of you. Just got in town, Sheriff.
What can I do for you?
Harry Deemers, U.S. Marshal, New York.
You're a long ways from home.
You recognize this woman?
Well, yes. I believe her name is Carol Atlee. She arrived in town a few days ago. Why?
I'm here to arrest her for the murder of her husband.
Are you sure Carol Atlee is the one you're looking for?
Carol Andrews, Sheriff. Atlee was her maiden name. Where can I find her?
Hotel, maybe. If not, most likely she'd be with Hoss Cartwright out at the Ponderosa.
Ponderosa? What's that?
That is the biggest spread in the territory, Marshal. You can rent a rig at the livery stable, get you out there.
Thanks.
Left your husband, went off with another man. And when your husband came after you, you killed him. Is that true? Is that true? That isn't what you told Hoss. Is it?
No. Mr. Cartwright. My husband wasn't fit to live. I had tried to leave him many times. But he'd always stop me. When my mother was dying, he kept me from going to her, forcibly. The night that he was killed, we'd had an ugly fight. There was another man. He'd offered to help me. To give me money to go to my mother if I would. I went to him. My husband followed me there and broke in. He called me a tramp. He began slapping me around. The other man tried to help me. But my husband just beat him to the floor, senseless. Then he came after me again. And I saw a gun. It was lying in a case. I picked it up. I aimed it at him. And I told him to stop. But he kept coming closer. And then I killed him. If I hadn't killed him, he would have killed me. And that's the whole story. Do you believe me?
I don't know. Would you tell Hoss what you just told me?
How could I tell Hoss what I've been, what I've done? I love him so much.
If you love him so much, how can you lie to him?
Because I don't want to lose him. I can't lose him.
Are you going to live a lie for the rest of your life? What about Demers? What about the warrant for your arrest?
I don't care. I came here to bury myself. But I found a life instead. I didn't ask to meet Hoss. But I did. And I love him. And he loves me. And he's gonna find some way to keep Demers from taking me back. He won't let Demers take me back.
If that's your idea of love, to ruin the person you love. Because if it is, I sure feel sorry for you, Carol. I sure feel sorry for you.
Hoss won't believe you. He loves me. He'll believe me.
Yes, he'll believe you. Knowing Hoss, I know he'll believe you. He loves you. And you'll destroy him.
Get out of here.
For Hoss's sake. And your own. Tell him the truth.
Get out of here. is it?
It's me, Hoss, Carol.
What do you want?
I brought you some more things.
What? Just a minute. Come in, Hoss.
I told you I wouldn't be long.
That's my sweet Hossie. I knew you wouldn't be long. Oops. I'm just having a little prenuptial celebration. You too, Hossie. You too. You're going to have a little prenuptial celebration.
No, thank you, Carol. I don't believe I care for it.
Bad, Hossie. You said you were going back to the Ponderosa.
Well, I was, but I had to pick up these things, and I ran across these flowers, and I just thought I'd bring them over to you.
Oh, that's sweet. Oh, that's so sweet. Oh, you're my sweet Hossie. You love me better than anybody in the world, don't you, Hossie?
Yeah, Carol, I love you, but don't you think you've had enough to drink?
No.
Honey, they send up the clean laundry yet?
Who is he, Carol? Who is he?
Guess you might as well tell him, honey.
He's just who you think he is. Just who you think he is.
Carol.
Oh, Carol, Carol! Is that all you can say, Carol? Well, now you know. What do you want me to do? Cry? Would you like me to beg your forgiveness? You. If you'd only stayed in there one more minute, we'd have had him hooked. You would have been married, and it would have cost you plenty to get out of it. Well, what are you standing there for?
Carol. What are you doing?
What am I doing? I like that. It was you who fostered your attentions on me. You and your stuffy family. Well, it's a very rich family. Why shouldn't I have some of that money? Huh? Did you think I was doing it for you? You? To bloom for thee? I've used that poem to hook more yokels than you could count. Tell you what I'm gonna do. I'll let you have it. Hey, for a sweetie! Get out of here!
You better get out, farm boy. That takes care of my end of it. Now you're going to be nice and tame all the way back to New York, just like you promised, huh? Just like you promised, huh? Better get ready. That judge and jury have been waiting a long time for you. I'll get my coat.
There's some things a man has to do for himself. Mourning a lost love is one of them.